I'm loving the enthusiasm. Okay, so I'm curious. We just wrapped up our first session. I'm wondering who in the room is new from our last session, meaning you weren't here just a minute ago. Get loud. Okay, we got people up here in the front. Okay, and get loud if you're joining us again and you're looking forward to hearing more about our wonderful products. I love it. I love the energy. Well, we are so excited to be kicking off our 3 p.m. session on one of my favorite topics, foundational wellness. We've talked about this a lot, but that's because it's so vital for us to understand so that we can do the daily consistent habits that will make the biggest differences, okay? So just to quickly remind you, before we begin, we are offering translation for select languages, so ensure you're tuned into the correct channel, and if you need assistance, we've got help out at the help desk just right in the hallway, okay? To access all doTERRA Talks presentations and assets, make sure to download the 2025 doTERRA Convention mobile app and visit the resource tab. The Convention app comes with various activities, the doTERRA experiences, TerraTalks, and everything you need, okay? Now, let's jump right in to hear from the amazing presenters we have for this hour on foundational wellness, okay? How many of you, I'm curious, before we get started talking on that, how many of you have already taken the VMG, E Omega, and PB Restore today? Get loud. I know I have. And actually, I've got a quick story to go along with that. A few days ago when I was coming up here for convention, I get a text from my wife, not long after I got here. She says, "Where's the frother?" And I said, "What's a frother?" And she says, "The mixer, the one you use to mix your drinks with." I said, "Oh, I needed that. I needed that for my VMG." And she says, "Well, what am I supposed to use?" I said, "Well, I guess you're gonna have to use a spoon." I had to take the frother, I guess. So anyway, on another note, our presenters will go into a deep dive on why it is so important for the foundational wellness to be a part of everyone's daily routine. So our first speaker is from the state of Florida. Anybody from Florida? Got a whole bunch right here in the front, loving the enthusiasm. And she shared with us, just so we could get to know her a little bit better, just a few fun facts. And one of the things that she mentioned was that she would rather swim with alligators at a local mineral springs any day over going to Disney World. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. She is passionate about health and wellness, so she started a group in Central Florida that has now grown to 5 groups run by her team. And she was the recipient of a Healing Hands Match program project to work at a domestic violence shelter in Guatemala. So without any further ado, please join with me in giving a warm welcome to our first presenter, platinum leader, well-being coach and consultant, Hope.
Good afternoon, everybody. Woo! Welcome to TerraTalks. I hope you are awake and ready. I want you to buckle up, okay? And yes, I am Hope Clark from Orlando, Florida, and I would totally rather swim in our crystal clear, gorgeous springs than go to Disney World any day, okay? That water you saw Simone swimming in the preview video for next year's convention, I know that place. That's where I take my kids. It's gorgeous. You've got to go. You're going to love it. And from now on, I'm going to call my hometown Orlando Terra. Okay? So come to my home next year. I am so excited. I want to bring the whole city. So I primarily work with healthcare providers. I train them and their teams on the clinical use of essential oils. How about that, my friends? And guess what? I was just preceded by an incredible, knowledgeable doctor. And the person who's about to present after me, she's an incredible, phenomenal, knowledgeable doctor. Do I have a doctorate? No, I am from Orlando. I do not have a doctorate in any of those scientific fields. What I do have a doctorate in is my life, my personal experience with these products. And so what I'm going to share with you here today is just a few of my life stories. And this, honestly, is how I share my business. So I'm going to share with you today about wellness that works with VMG Plus. And I'm telling you, it really, really works. But before we dive in, let's pull it back for just a minute, okay? I want to ask you a personal question, and I really want you to think about this. What if the way that you care for yourself is inadvertently shaping how you treat everyone else around you? Huh? I mean, really, what if your capability to show up, to lead, to listen, to notice things, to be present, to love, to lead, all the things, what if that is being shaped inadvertently by what you did this morning? I mean, have you ever heard the statement, if you don't handle what hurt you, you will bleed on people who never cut you? It's true. It's used in situations when emotional trauma bleeds out onto the people around the person because they haven't handled what hurt them. And the same is true in our own lives. If we don't take responsibility for ourselves and how we show up every single day, what happens throughout the course of the rest of the day will be on us. Now, this is the reality. Well-being is not a luxury. And this has been an idea that we've had in some of our spaces is that, oh, well, wellness is a luxury. I'll do it when I can afford it. It is not a luxury. It's a responsibility. It's the foundation for showing up fully in our life. If you tell me you want to have a fun day and have a great life, but you aren't taking care of yourself, there's a disconnect there. This is how we change our communities, by taking personal responsibility. Now I'm going to share something really vulnerable with you. This is me. My 4-year-old snapped this photo on our couch some years ago, right around the time of the story I'm about to share with you. Okay? I was a young mother of 3, falling short on needed nutrients, exhausted, carrying very dense emotions. I was failing to take care of myself because, of course, everyone else comes first, right? So here's the scene. I am in the kitchen. I am cooking dinner. The fire is on. The babies, diapers, toddlers, they're all in the kitchen. They're banging on pots and pans. They're yelling, they're singing, they're collaborating, they're being creative, they're having fun. They want mommy to collaborate with them. Mommy, mommy, come play. And I'm standing at the counter cooking with a hot fire, and my whole body is tense. I'm carrying dense emotions in my physical body. My mind is on bills, overburdened, worried, nervous, scared, tense. Things start to fire up in my body, and before I know it, something erupts out of me. I bang my fist on the counter, and I scream, "Get out of the kitchen!" My children were shocked, ran from the room. I was stunned myself. I'd never done that before. Flipped off the fire, grabbed the oils that were on the counter that I had just brought home from doTERRA, ran to my closet, and I crumpled on the floor, sobbing. It literally took me several minutes to regain rational thought. And I sat there for a minute wondering, what just happened? I'm shaking. What just happened in my body? I have to learn this. I need to know what just happened because I will never, and I decided that moment, I will never do that again. I will not be a detriment to my daughters. Right then was the decision point for me. I started learning about the gut-brain axis. I started reading books written by doctors. I started learning about my own body. I started learning about how emotions are created and how they ripple through our body like waves, how every cell in your body feels the angry thought you're thinking. I started to learn all about it, and I immediately started taking Lifelong Vitality Pack. Who's a fan of Lifelong Vitality Pack here? Right? Man, that changed my life. when I started getting nutrition in my body and I started using the oils deliberately to shift my emotions, things began to shift. And I learned a few things in this process as I began to bring myself out of that space and began to show up productively and never again be a problem, an issue for the others around me. Never bleed out onto them my stress. Here's what I learned about the brain-gut connection in layman's terms, okay? My physical health was affecting my emotional health, period. That is how it works. I learned that 80% of our serotonin is developed in the gut, and low serotonin in the brain removes our ability to regulate our own emotions. Then the amygdala starts up, and it starts shooting out stress response, cortisol, adrenaline. And now we're on edge, we're irritable, we're frustrated. For no real reason, we're just protective now. And then the prefrontal cortex, right up here, the front part, which is your creative spot, the area where you want to collaborate and connect and communicate, it shuts off. All you're left with now is someone who's in a very disconnected state, ready to fight, not interested in collaborating. And guess what? When you don't have nutrition in your body, here's the kicker, it makes it worse. When you don't have B12, when you don't have magnesium, all those neurotransmitters that are set and wired to help restabilize you, rebalance you, can't communicate to each other. And so you're stuck there in that state. Oof. This is what I love about VMG Plus, because it is not a Band-Aid, it is a 2-minute foundational morning routine that actually supports how you show up, how you think, how you feel, and are productive for that day. It's not just about what the nutrients do for us, it's about how the nutrients make us feel and thus how we can be productive for this day. Now, the kicker that I love about this product, I know we've learned all about the ingredients and how it's liposomal and it goes right into the cell and all of this amazing technical stuff that's awesome, 90 whole food ingredients, and it's just fabulous. My favorite thing about it are these 5 essential oils. Who loves these oils? Are you a fan? Aren't you a fan of these oils? Now, of course, they were primarily chosen because of their chemistry. They optimize nutrient absorption. They deliver maximum results. Yes, this is good. I like this. I really love this. But here's what I really love about ginger, lavender, lemongrass, peppermint, and wild orange. When I use ginger, it soothes my stomach, but emotionally, it helps me feel like I can take responsibility for myself. When I use lavender, when I inhale it, think about how you feel when you inhale lavender. It calms my mind. It helps me feel safe to speak my truth. When I use lemongrass, oh my gosh, this one totally refreshes me. It's almost like the past is gone. I am here now, present, ready. Let's move forward. When I use peppermint, woo, let's go. Like, hello, let's get stuff done. Peppermint's it. And when I use wild orange, it suddenly activates that frontal lobe. It energizes me. I want to be creative. I want to collaborate. I've got new ideas. These are the things that I love about how doTERRA included this in this product. So brilliant. And guess what? There's no other product on the market that has these in it. That makes this a very unique product. Okay, I've got another story for you, okay? Does anybody in the room have a slightly dramatic 17-year-old daughter? Anyone? 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 Let's talk after. We can form a club, okay? All right, so here's the scene. I'm walking into the kitchen, and she's standing there, and the box of VMG is sitting on the counter, okay? And she's standing there with her finger pointed at it, and she has her Gen Z stare on. Now, for those of you in the audience, who knows what a Gen Z stare is? Anybody? Anybody? Okay. For those of you who don't know what a Gen Z stare is, Generation Z came in thinking like, whoa, these people talk way too much. There's way too much drama here. I'm done with all the social stuff. No. Okay, so she's sitting there, but she's saying something to me silently. Now, of course, I'm Generation X. We use our words. So I stand there and I go, yes, Selah, you have something to say to me? And she points at the VMG box and she goes, Mom, you don't understand. When I see that we're running out of VMG, a little part of me dies inside. See, I need it. It gives me energy and it makes me feel good. So, now I knew there were only 3 sachets left, but I also knew I had reordered, so hello, it was gonna come. But I love her commitment to her wellness, and she's absolutely right. She comes up every morning to have her VMG. Just like Robin Sharma said, the way you start your day determines how well you live your day. I know the truth of this in my life. When I take care of myself in the morning, I show up with more kindness, with more consistency, with more awareness of who needs my help in that day. Now, here's a few things that I love to keep in mind when I'm sharing about VMG. I love these new packets. I love how simple they make it for us to share. When I'm talking about VMG, I often say vitamins, minerals, and greens. Here are your vitamins, minerals, and greens. Because let's face it, we know what that means, but the world doesn't know yet. So vitamins, minerals, and greens, plus it's 90 whole food ingredients and 5 essential oils. Here's a few other keywords you could use. V can also be for vegan, which means it's safe for all food types. The M could also stand for micro and macronutrients. You have both in one product. The G can also stand for GI tract. Your enzymes, your probiotics, it's safe for your gut. And of course, the plus is your 5 essential oils. Now, what I want you to do for sure when you share this is share with confidence. Share abundantly. Share because this is both emotional and physical well-being in one product with this one simple routine. When you walk into a room, I want you to share as though you have a doctorate in your life and you know what this product has done for you. Tell people you have got to try this. Give them one of these sample packs and invite them to try it and to use it. I want to encourage you to really stay committed to this. Wellness that works in our communities, it has to start, first of all, it has to start with you, and first of all, starting in the morning. Commit to your own well-being, your own emotional well-being. And also, commit to sharing this wellness with the world. Creating a healthier world really does start with us. You see, everybody's just humaning out here, friends. We're all humans. It doesn't matter what we're doing in life or what our degree is. Everybody is going through something. So the next time that you see someone melting down over something or bleeding out onto their loved ones around them, remember the way that you are treating yourself in the morning, caring for yourself, is inadvertently affecting how you're behaving the rest of the day. This right here might just be the answer to their prayer. Are you going to show up and share it with them? I dare you to. I dare you to. Because guess what? The community that we need, the one where everybody walks out present, aware, ready to connect, ready to collaborate, ready to make the world that we want to live in, that world has got to start with you and with me. And it starts today. So let's go. Thank you all.
Dr. Laura Ritchie.
Hello, beautiful soul. Oh, thanks, Mom. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, a certified women's health and functional nutrition coach, an essential oil nerd at heart, and I am honored to share with you about one of our most overlooked but life-giving products in our foundational wellness line, our E Omega Plus. But first, show of hands, raise your hand if you have ever walked into a room and then totally forgotten why you were there. Okay, thank you. It's not just me. I chalked this up to perimenopause or I was just doing too much until I got curious about what my brain actually needs to function well. But I got a little story for you. Years ago, I tried some generic fish oil. And you know what happened? Nothing. I was taking these giant horse pills that tasted horrible, gave me fish burps, and made me want to gag. Raise your hand if you've had this experience with fish oil. Okay, thank you. Same. Because if you hate it and it tastes like garbage, you are not going to be consistent taking it. But we have something that's so different. And I started being consistent with our E Omega Plus. And in a few weeks, my body finally had what it needed, and it let me know. The brain fog started to lift. I had better exercise recovery after weight training. I had a more balanced mood, which my husband appreciated. I no longer dreaded taking my fish oil supplement. I actually enjoyed it. Now we're going to get nerdy for just a second because E Omega Plus is not your average fish oil. Ours is sourced from the Nordic seas in a natural form and state. And we have our beautiful wild orange essential oil with limonene that has tons of health benefits. It's cardioprotective, which we'll talk more about. So when we're comparing it with other fish oils, I want you to notice that ours has the full package of fatty acids that your body craves. It is infused with our CPTG wild orange essential oil. And it's the only option that I believe you can get for free by sharing with other people. But we'll talk more about that later. Did you know of the top 16 fish oil supplements, 82% of them do not comply with their own label claims for EPA and DHA ratios? This is not new to us in the world of essential oils. Unfortunately, we have seen time and time again where what's on the label is not what's actually inside the bottle. And this is where we have to beware as consumers, because cheap fish oils can have synthetic omega-3s, be less bioavailable, making them harder to absorb, have high levels of contaminants like heavy metals and toxins, with no added protection because there's no essential oils for antioxidant support to prevent oxidation. You get what you pay for. A 2015 study by Canadian researchers found that many over-the-counter omega-3 products were rancid. And in a few cases, the levels of EPA and DHA were far below label claims. Major retail stores, think Walmart and Costco, and drugstores were among those tested. And while the report didn't single out one brand as not fish oil, it raised red flags about the lack of industry regulation and quality control. Store brand fish oil may be cheap, but what is the cost of something that doesn't work, or worse, increases inflammation, which can do harm? E Omega Plus is in a league of its own. It helps to decrease resting heart rate. And I know that might not sound awesome, like, yay, okay, decreases resting heart rate. But what that actually means is that there's less strain on your heart. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard. This is that cardioprotective mechanism that we were talking about. Similar with decreasing our diastolic blood pressure, it's less strain on the heart and the body. This fish oil is so protective and supports our heart health. DHA and EPA are daily essentials. They're supporting your brain, vision, heart, and a healthy inflammatory response throughout the body. Legal made me say that, but you know what I'm talking about, right? This is your brain's best friend, your hormones' happy place, and your joints' secret weapon, because it helps you at a cellular level by helping your cells communicate better, eliminating waste, absorbing nutrients, and staying youthful. Yes, please. So I called in the expert. Who loves Alex Stabell? Yes, me too. We hopped on a Zoom call to get your questions answered so that you could feel really confident talking about E Omega Plus and sharing it with others. So let's dive into your questions. When is the best time to take E Omega Plus? Whenever you can. Just get this goodness in your body. Ideally, in the morning, it's best to take it with breakfast so you have these nutrients to support you throughout the day, but any time is better than none. If it's dinner time and you forgot, take it with your dinner. Just get it into your body. And remember, with our supplements, taking it is better than not taking it. What about kids? Can our kids take this? It's formulated for adults, but it is safe for children 12 and up. But it's not the fish oil that's the concern. The fish oil is safe and great for your kids, even your littles. The concern is the capsule as a potential choking hazard. So how we get around that is you can cut the capsule or poke a little hole, squeeze it out, mix it into food for your younger kids. Older kids that can be trusted can just chew and use the capsule or the soft gel. So yes, safe for our kids. Where should you start? Did you start E Omega Plus and you noticed a little GI upset, little loose stool, little gas, little burps? Don't worry, I won't make you raise your hand for this part. But you're not alone with this. The essential oils are going to take your body on a little adventure. And the question is your body ready to go on this journey? So if this is you, I want you to back off a little bit and start with one. Ease into this process and slowly work your way up to the recommended 3 per day. Listen to your body with this. Does it thin your blood? Research shows that taking omega-3s do not increase bleeding risk. Your body still clots naturally, making them safe and supportive, even in preoperative settings. Are you vegan? Or your oil clients? Or are you allergic to fish? You can use our VE Omega option. This is plant-based ALA that converts to EPA in the body. And you can add 5 to 6 drops of our wild orange essential oil in a veggie capsule to get that limonene benefit. It's not as efficient, so you also want to eat lots of flax, chia, walnuts, avocados, spinach, Brussels sprouts, get all of that goodness in you. But I want you to give this time. Give it 3 months of consistent daily use to see big changes. People are noticing more energy, better memory, improved exercise recovery, eye health improvements, and period cramps decreasing. And there is a ton of research that shows that people who take a high-quality fish oil with consistency actually live longer. Yes, that's amazing. Woohoo! So I have a fun way to help you remember this. Are you ready? I warned you that I'm a little nerdy. Ready for this? Okay. If you want to live longer and prosper, take your E Omega Plus daily with us. Any Trekkies in the house? Yes! Oh, I'm not alone. You're going to remember now. You're going to take your fish oil. You're going to say, I want to live long and prosper. Pop your E Omega Plus. Yes. Now, how does this help real people? I want you to meet a beautiful soul, Linda. Oh, you know her? Yes. Linda has fabulous hair. She hugs trees. She goes outside barefoot in nature. She is 78 years young. Isn't she cute? She's adorable. Before she started taking our foundational wellness supplements, she was having a lot of aches, pain, and discomfort. So much so that she was having to get out of bed in the morning with a cane. She thought that this was a normal part of the aging process until she started foundational wellness. She has been taking it with consistency for a year now, and she feels like she's in her 20s. She is shuffle dancing. Let her be the inspiration for you of what can happen when we take these with consistency. Because Linda is the inspiration for us that we are still becoming at any age. Our E Omega Plus is foundational. It supports your brain, heart, joints, hormones, eyes, skin, all of it This is a daily act of love for your body. You can't meditate your way out of a fatty acid deficiency. I love meditation, but this is the truth. E Omega Plus is not optional. This is non-negotiable. This is like brushing your teeth with Supermint toothpaste and wearing your balanced deodorant. We don't skip it. And bonus, it smells and tastes like wild orange, not a dead fish. You're welcome. Woo! All right, wellness advocates, are you in the house? Raise your hand so I can see you. Yes! Oh, beautiful. Okay, wholesale customers, raise your hand. Are you in the house? Woo! Okay. Did you know, wholesale customers, that you have a link when you log into your account? It's one that pops up that you probably just closed, but that's your refer a friend link, so when you share this with friends or family, you get doTERRA dollars to buy this for free. And I got a message for you, wholesale customers. I swore I would never do this as a business. And here we are. So never say never. But let's talk about how you can share, because this is applicable to all of us, without being weird or icky or gross. Do you know anyone looking for any of this? Yes, thank you. The world is hurting right now. People are struggling. I want you to speak to their problems. What keeps them up at night? And how can this supplement help to support them? You could say something like, I just learned that one of the easiest things you can do to live longer is take a fish oil every day. Have you ever taken fish oil before? Be a real human. Share your experiences. Better yet, make a video popping the fish oil in your mouth and showing how you don't gag or barf. That will get people's attention. Or say, hey, have you ever tried fish oil for brain fog? I didn't realize until recently how much it can help with focus and memory. I have a challenge for you. If you're not taking our E Omega Plus yet, I want you to start immediately. If you've been taking it inconsistently, now is the time to recommit. If someone came to mind during our time together, I want you to text them and reach out to them. Because it's the little things that you do daily that matter more than the big things that you do occasionally. It is the daily decisions that change everything. And this affects brain, body, and beyond. We are fueling the future, one fish oil capsule at a time. I want you to be brave, be bold, shine your light. You know enough to help one person. Go help them. Thank you for letting me share something that I love with you.
Please welcome to the stage
My doTERRA family. I'm so excited to be with you guys today, but I've got to tell you, I am not the same person that I was when I started with doTERRA 13 years ago. I had a lot of health issues, and doTERRA was the very first thing that helped me, and that's what led to me becoming a functional practitioner. I've been told that my toxic trait is giving unsolicited health advice, especially to strangers. Anybody else? I pour oils all over them. So I was actually asked to be here today to talk about my favorite topic, which is the gut health. But I want to talk to you about the human microbiome. Specifically, a little bit later, we're going to dig into the estrobolome. So first, what is the human microbiome? Your body hosts trillions of microbes that outnumber human cells. They're made up of bacteria, viruses, fungi. They're invisible, and it's an invisible ecosystem that powers your health. They live in communities called microbiomes. Now, the gut usually gets all of the glory because everybody knows about the gut microbiome, but we actually have microbiomes all over our body. We've got them on our skin, our mouth, our lungs, and our reproductive system. And all of those microbiomes work together. So yesterday, Laura Jacobs talked to us about her garden and how our gut microbiome needs to be diverse and balanced. It needs to have lots of different species to be productive, and that is what supports our immune system, because the majority of our immune system is in our gut. So if we want to be able to fight all the bugs, we want to make sure everything's diverse. So our modern diets make that kind of difficult because there's not a whole lot of diversity. Did you know that 3/4 of the world's food actually comes from 12 plants and 5 animals? That's not very diverse. Does anybody ever get tired of the lack of diversity in their food? I know I do, like all the time. It's a challenge. So let's talk about things that influence your microbiome. How do you help it and how do you hurt it? Well, things that feed it and nourish it are a whole food diet rich in fiber, fermented foods, regular exercise, quality sleep, and good stress management. But things that hurt it are processed foods, chronic stress, poor sleep, over-sanitization, and even some medications. So beyond our gut, like I said, we have microbiomes everywhere. So I said our skin, that's our first line of defense. Then your mouth, that's where your mouth microbiome is going to help with digestion, your metabolism, and your heart health. Then your lungs, obviously, are interacting with everything that you're going to be breathing in. And then your reproductive system also has its own microbiome. So back to the gut, because it's the most well-known microbiome. It's the powerhouse of the microbiome. And it's your gut that decides what nutrients your body is going to absorb. And obviously, it's found in the digestive tract. But it has a lot of different microbial communities that help us digest, defend, and thrive. Now, I want to talk about the estrobolome. You heard Lauren mention it yesterday. This is a very important part of the gut microbiome. The estrobolome is lesser known, but it's really, really powerful. So ladies, have you ever completely felt different at different times of the month? Like your mood shifts are out of nowhere, maybe your jeans are fitting differently? I know I'm not the only one. A lot of people chalk that up to just hormones, but it's not just hormones because your gut actually plays a really big role in driving a lot of that story. So what is the estrobolome? It's the gatekeeper of your hormone balance. It's a specialized branch of the gut microbe that manage estrogen metabolism. Think of it kind of like a control panel. There's a process that happens in the estrobolome called glucuronidation. In this process, there's microbes that produce an enzyme called beta-glucuronidase, or we'll call it beta-gluc for short. Now, this beta-gluc deactivates estrogen and sends it out of the body, or reactivates the estrogen after the liver's already tried to get rid of it, and sends it back into the bloodstream. So its main role is regulating how much estrogen is activated, deactivated, or recycled in the body. So balance is really important. If your body isn't eliminating estrogen well, or if the estrobolome is constantly reactivating it, you end up with a relative overload of estrogen compared to progesterone. And gut health often explains how you're feeling and why it might not line up with your lab numbers, because you can feel estrogen dominant, but still have low estrogen on your lab numbers. So we want to make sure that everything's balanced and everything is circulating the way it's supposed to, not just focusing only on those lab numbers. So we're going to talk more about elimination, but if you have poor elimination and imbalance, it can lead to PMS, mood swings, weight shifts, and heavy cycles. Did you know that estrogen actually influences your brain chemistry? Estrogen helps regulate serotonin and dopamine, the very neurotransmitters that affect mood, energy, and stress response. So when you're out of balance, estrogen levels, if they swing too high or swing too low, you could have anxiety, irritability, brain fog, and downstream effects of poor estrogen metabolism. Your gut is directly shaping how you feel mentally and emotionally. So yesterday, a couple of our speakers talked about the phases of detoxification. I want to dig into this a little bit more. So in phase 1, we've got where your liver is tagging your estrogen. Think of it like your liver is putting all of your old estrogen into a box, a nice, neat little box, and getting it all prepared to ship it on out of the body. So it's sending it on to phase 2, which is where the gut is going to move it or recycle it. And this is where I was talking about having high beta-gluc or beta-glucuronidase. This enzymatic reaction right here in phase 2 is where it's going to decide, are we going to take that nice, neat little box and are we going to open it and spread everything around the body, which reminds me like my toddler every time I try to clean. So are we going to do that, or are we going to keep it in its nice little box and send it on to phase 3? So if you have that high beta-glucuronidase, it's going to be unpackaging things and sending it all over the place. But if it's not, we're moving on to phase 3, which is elimination. Now, growing up, my grandma, every time we were sick, if we weren't feeling good, if we were a little cranky, she'd say, "Have you had a BM today?" And we thought it was funny. Like, we would giggle and we'd be like, "Grandma, we don't talk about that." But I'm serious now. She was right, because you need to be having a BM every day. The average American has 2 to 3 a week. You're supposed to be having 2 to 3 a day. So we want to make sure everything's moving the way that it should, so all that old estrogen is coming out the way we want it to. Foundational wellness can help with this, and PB Restore comes in and can help us with this as well. So when you're looking at probiotics, you really want to have the 4 Ps of a healthy microbiome. We've got prebiotics, probiotics, postbiotics, and bacteriophages, or phages for short. So the prebiotics are the fibers that are going to feed the good bacteria. Think of it like the bacteria, the probiotics are taking their lunch down with them so that they can eat on the way down. The probiotics are live beneficial microbes. Postbiotics are the beneficial compounds that the microbes produce, and the bacteriophages are actually viruses that simply clean out the bacteria in the gut, but they don't negatively affect your human cells. Together, all 4 of these create an ecosystem that's balanced and resilient. And what's really cool is we have all 4 of them in our PB Restore. You may have heard doctors say that probiotics don't work. And they often will not tell you to take them after taking certain medications, which is irritating. But in their defense, a lot of them are looking at research from the 1990s. And that research said that our stomach is really acidic. We want it to be acidic. But when you're taking probiotics, if they're not properly protected, your stomach acid will break down those live microbes, and you're paying a lot of money for something that's just going to die in your stomach. So I understand their mindset on that, but with our PB Restore, we have better technology, I guess you could say. So you can see that we've got the outer capsule, which is stable in the stomach, and then the inner capsule opens up in the small intestine, which is a neutral pH, and we want all those good microbes that are inside the inner capsule to get all the way down to the gut where they belong. So this PB Restore is designed for maximum diversity and effectiveness. So when I was looking into the PB Restore, I like to look at bacterial strains and look them up online and see the really cool research. So I looked up the Bifidobacterium species that we have in the PB Restore, and I specifically looked up Bifidobacterium longum and Bifidobacterium breve. And I really, really would encourage you to look up that research, because it strongly suggests that species reduces estrogen reactivation. And women with higher Bifidobacterium levels may have a reduced risk of estrogen-driven health issues, if you catch my drift. So look up the research and read it for yourself, because that will say all the things I can't say. The PB Restore also has lactobacillus species in it, which helps regulate estrogen in effect in both the gut and the vaginal tract. So it helps with healthy estrogen balance as well. But check those out. I promise you won't be disappointed. So how do you know if you need a probiotic? If you have frequent bloating, gas, or irregular bowel movements, a weak immune system, low energy, brain fog, fatigue, mood swings, skin issues, hormonal imbalance, or if you've taken antibiotics. You can take them any time of day, whenever you'll remember is the best time. However, I don't recommend taking it right at bedtime because your GI tract slows down, almost stops at night. And if you take it right before bed, it might not be able to release all the way down to your gut where we want it to be, okay? It'll just get stuck in your stomach. And we want to make sure it goes all the way down because of those delayed release capsules. So once you're taking it, how do you know if it's working? Well, you'll notice more digestive improvements, hopefully, in 1 to 3 weeks. Probably less bloating, more regularity, going every day, more energy and mental focus, improved skin clarity, stronger immune resilience, reduced sugar cravings, and more stable mood. But if you're not seeing these improvements in 2 to 3 months, I would really have you consider going back and doing the 90-day reset that Dr. Kelly was talking about because it's so powerful. And the GX Assist is just amazing for resetting the gut microbiome. It is my favorite product. I use it with all of my clients. And mixed with our new castor oil and the Revitazen, it's just awesome. So let's recap about the microbiome. If you're going to be using your probiotics, your PB Restore, you're going to have better digestion and better nutrient absorption, stronger immunity and metabolism. It's going to support your mood, your skin, hormones and weight, basically every single bodily function. And your daily routine needs to include that and some other things. We want to make sure you're eating a variety of plants and fermented foods. But specifically, to make the PB Restore more effective, focus on high fiber foods, especially cruciferous vegetables. So cauliflower and broccoli. If you have issues with hormone imbalance, those are so important. Beans, veggies, flaxseed, fermented foods, polyphenol-rich foods like berries, green tea, or cocoa. And then make sure you're moving your body daily. Sleep well, manage your stress, limit over-sanitizing things. Not with oils. Oils are safe. I mean with the other stuff. Use your targeted supplementation like the doTERRA PB Restore for full diversity and resilience. Now, remember that the microbiome is the central hub of your health. You want to care for your gut. When you're caring for your gut, you're also caring for your hormones, your mood, and your long-term health. Again, I'm saying it again. The microbiome is the central hub of your health. By nourishing it with lifestyle choices, with foundational wellness, and scientifically formulated support like PB Restore, you invest in long-term vitality. Remember that gut health is not just about digestion, it's about how you feel, how you think, and how your hormones behave. So if you'd like to learn more about the microbiome or about PB Restore, we have a free course on doTERRA.com. So scan this QR code to check out the doTERRA Probiome product course.
Who enjoyed this session of TerraTalks? Yeah! So good. Let me ask this question. Who learned something?